Hello there, and welcome to the Sleeping Science Bedtime. Tonight we'll drift through the quiet architecture of the universe, a place where light moves slower and time forgets to hurry. Perhaps the day has been full of noise, leaving your thoughts to spin like dust in a restless wind. Let your shoulders rest now. Let gravity hold you against the steady earth as it holds the moon in its silver arc. Tonight, we'll drift through the quiet laws of stellar evolution, watching as the great fires of the heavens find their way toward a long and peaceful cooling. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. Now, let's begin. The story of a star is a long negotiation between the weight of its own light and the patient pull of the void. For billions of years, it has stood as a monument of balance, holding its shape against the cold reaches of the surrounding dark. Inside the hidden cathedral of the core, hydrogen atoms have danced in a tireless rhythm, merging to create the warmth that sustains the worlds above. But there comes a moment when the fuel grows thin and the ancient engine begins to change its song. You can almost feel the shift in pressure, a subtle sigh that ripples through the layers of hot plasma. And still, it turns. As the hydrogen fades, the core of the star begins to feel the true weight of the heavens pressing down upon it. Without the outward push of fusion, gravity begins to reclaim the space. It has been denied for so many eons. The center grows smaller, tightening like a hand closing around a precious stone, becoming denser and more focused with every passing century. This contraction is not a sudden event, but a slow and deliberate gathering of heat, preparing for a new kind of fire. You are resting here in the quiet, while the star learns a different way to breathe, and the quiet holds. While the core descends into density, the outer shell of the star begins to react with a sudden, magnificent grace. The heat from the shrinking center pushes the atmosphere outward, causing the star to swell far beyond its original boundaries. It grows larger and more luminous, transforming from a steady yellow spark into a vast glowing ember that fills the local sky. The surface cools as it expands, turning a deep, resonant red that speaks of age and wisdom. It is a moment of profound inflation, where the star reaches out to touch the very edges of its kingdom, and wonder expands. In this state of being a red giant, the star is a fragile giant, a thin veil of light stretched across an enormous volume of space. The gravity at the surface is weak, allowing the outer layers to ripple and sway like silk caught in a gentle breeze. You can see the light shimmering through these transparent clouds of gas, casting a soft, rubicund glow over everything it touches. It is no longer a concentrated point of heat, but a wide, welcoming presence that warms the distant reaches of the system. The rhythm of the cosmos continues, steady and slow. Deep within the core, the temperature has climbed to a staggering height, reaching a point where a new transformation can occur. The helium that was once a byproduct of the star's youth now becomes the fuel for its grand maturity. In a sudden, invisible surge known as the helium flash, the atoms begin to fuse into carbon and oxygen, creating a sudden burst of internal energy. This new fire stabilizes the star once more, allowing it to hold its massive shape with a newfound sense of purpose. It is a second life, a quiet reign of alchemical magic, and life adjusts once more. You might feel the resonance of this fusion, a low hum that vibrates through the fabric of space-time itself. The star is now a factory of complexity, weaving the simple elements of the early universe into the building blocks of future worlds. Carbon, the foundation of all we know, is forged in these pressurized depths, born from the remnants of older fires. Every atom in your body was once cradled in a heart exactly like this one. Under pressures we can barely imagine, the universe is a recycler of light, turning old heat into new possibilities. And the network endures. As the helium burns, the star undergoes a series of rhythmic pulses, expanding and contracting like a giant, luminous heart. Each pulse sends a wave of energy through the outer layers, pushing them further and further away from the center. These layers are the star's history, a record of everything it has been and everything it has done, now being offered back to the dark. They drift away like smoke from a dying campfire, cool and ethereal, forming beautiful patterns against the black. The star is letting go, one breath at a time, and peace lingers. These departing layers create a planetary nebula, a glowing shroud of gas that surrounds the star like a halo of colorful glass. The light from the core illuminates these clouds, turning them into veils of emerald, violet, and gold that stretch across light years. It is a gallery of geometry, shaped by the magnetic fields and the steady pressure of the stellar wind. You are watching the star shed its old identity, peeling back the layers of its ego to reveal the truth beneath. The transformation is gentle, a quiet unraveling of light, and silence follows. The core that remains is a place of incredible density, a small sphere that contains the mass of an entire sun within the volume of a world. It is composed of carbon and oxygen, packed so tightly together that the very laws of physics must change to accommodate it. Here, the atoms are no longer free to move, but are locked into a rigid structure by the pressure of their own electrons. This is the beginning of the white dwarf, a state of matter that is neither solid nor liquid, but something entirely unique. The orbit holds, steady and true. There is no more fusion in this tiny, brilliant heart, no more fire to push back against the weight of the universe. Instead, the star is supported by the pressure of its electrons, a quantum force that prevents it from collapsing any further. It is a crystalline existence, a monument of pure mathematics, held together by the fundamental rules of the small. The white dwarf does not struggle to stay alive. It simply exists, a concentrated essence of everything the star once was. It has found its final, enduring form, and everything rests. The light emitted by this new star is white and piercing, a clean radiance that carries the heat of billions of years. It is the glow of a cooling ember, a steady decline of temperature that will take trillions of years to complete. Because there is no new energy being created, the star will spend the rest of eternity slowly fading, moving through the colors of the spectrum, from white to yellow, then orange, and eventually a dim, distant red. It is a long, graceful sunset that never truly ends. Still, the universe breathes. You can sense the stability of this state, a feeling of permanence that defies the passage of time. The white dwarf is one of the most stable objects in the cosmos, a survivor of the chaotic cycles of stellar life. It no longer needs to grow or change. It has reached a state of equilibrium that requires no effort to maintain. The heavy pulse of the furnace has finally yielded to the quiet light of the core, a transition from action to being. This is the peace of the aftermath, the clarity of the result, and the quiet remains. As the star cools, the carbon within its core may begin to crystallize, forming a structure that resembles a giant, celestial diamond. Under the immense pressure, the atoms arrange themselves into a perfect lattice, a jewel the size of a planet hanging in the dark. It is a hidden beauty, a secret kept in the heart of the dwarf, known only to the laws of thermodynamics. This crystalline world is the ultimate expression of order, a place where entropy has been slowed to a crawl. The rhythm continues, without a sound. The space around the white dwarf is silent and clear, the nebula having long since drifted away into the interstellar void. The star sits alone, a solitary lighthouse in the vast ocean of the night, marking the place where a giant once stood. It is a reminder that even the greatest expansions must eventually settle into a quiet center, a focused point of light. You are drifting in this clarity, feeling the weight of the day fall away like the star's discarded atmosphere. The universe is a patient observer of its own changes, and still, it turns. In this long cooling phase, the star becomes a repository of history, holding the memories of its fusion within its dense metallic skin. It has seen the birth of planets and the passing of comets, and now it watches the slow evolution of the galaxy from its stable perch. Time means very little to a white dwarf, as its changes are measured in eras rather than years. It is a sentinel of the long dark, a witness to the unfolding story of matter and energy. The silence is not empty, but full of the star's long journey, and the quiet holds. The gravity of the dwarf is still immense, bending the paths of passing light and holding any nearby remnants of its past in a tight grip. If a stray planetoid or a cloud of dust wanders too close, it is shredded into a ring of debris, a silver necklace for the small, bright king. This interaction is a slow dance, a gentle reclaiming of the material that once belonged to the star's wider self. Everything is eventually pulled back to the center, returning to the source of all things. The current flows without effort. As the eons pass, the white dwarf continues to shed its heat into the vacuum, a process so slow that the universe itself will age significantly before the star goes dark. It is a champion of endurance, outlasting the brilliant giants that flare and die in the blink of a cosmic eye. There is a quiet dignity in this longevity, a refusal to be hurried by the cold. The star is a testament to the idea that the most profound things are often the most concentrated. Peace hums through the void, steady and deep. The transition from the expansive red giant to the compact white dwarf is a journey of refinement, a shedding of the unnecessary to protect the essential. It is a process of finding the core, the part of the self that cannot be taken away by gravity or time. When you let go of the noise of the day, you are performing a similar alchemy, settling into the quiet density of your own rest. The star has shown the way, moving from the fire of action to the light of existence, and light drifts onward. In the stillness of this celestial transformation, we find a sense of safety, knowing that the universe has a place for everything, even the smallest remnants. The white dwarf is not a failure of the star, but its greatest achievement, a state of perfect balance that will endure until the end of time. It is a sanctuary of light, a place where the struggle of fusion has finally been resolved into the peace of structure. You are part of this order, a participant in the long, slow cooling of the world, and life adjusts once more. The colors of the dwarf star are a language of temperature, a story told in the shifting wavelengths of its glow. A young white dwarf shines with a blue-white intensity, a fierce reminder of its recent past as a stellar engine. But as the millions of years turn into billions, the light softens into a creamy white, then a pale, buttery yellow. It is as if the star is relaxing, letting go of the tension of its birth and settling into a comfortable, middle-aged warmth. The rhythm of the deep endures, quiet and sure. Imagine the surface of this world, a place where gravity is so strong that the atmosphere is only a few inches thick. The light from the stars above would be perfectly clear, undistorted by the thick clouds of more active suns. It is a landscape of absolute stillness, a metallic plains of carbon and oxygen reflecting the distant light of the galaxy. There is no wind here, no weather, only the constant, unblinking presence of the vacuum. It is the ultimate expression of terrestrial peace, a world made of pure essence, and everything rests in its place. Below the surface, the crystalline lattice of the core provides a foundation that is nearly indestructible. This internal architecture is the star's strength, a geometric perfection that resists the crushing weight of the layers above. It is a beautiful irony that the most intense pressure creates the most organized and stable structures in the universe. In your own rest, you are finding your own internal lattice, the quiet strength that supports you when the world is dark. The quiet returns to the roots, feeding the soul. The white dwarf is a bridge between the living stars and the cold matter of the deep future. It carries the heat of the past into the shadows of what is to come, acting as a thermal reservoir for the galaxy. Its long decay is a gift of warmth to the void, a slow release of energy that prevents the darkness from becoming absolute. Even in its fading, the star is a provider, a source of comfort for the long, cold night of the cosmos. Stillness travels through the water of space, and wonder expands. As we watch this process, we see that there is no true ending, only a shift in perspective. The red giant was a magnificent display of power and scale, but the white dwarf is a masterpiece of efficiency and endurance. Both are necessary parts of the same story, the two halves of a single breathing cycle. The expansion and the contraction are like the inhalation and exhalation of a giant cosmic lung. You are breathing with it now, a slow and steady rhythm that matches the turning of the stars, and the quiet deepens. The density of the dwarf star creates a unique relationship with time itself, as the intense gravity slows the passage of moments in its immediate vicinity. Near the surface, the clock ticks a little differently, a subtle reminder that the laws of the universe are flexible and strange. It is as if the star has created its own sanctuary of time, a place where the hurry of the outside world cannot reach. In the sanctuary of your sleep, time also loses its edge, becoming a soft and fluid medium for your dreams. Stillness widens its reach. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a transition from the outward reaching to the inward. Knowing, the star has explored the limits of its size, and now it explores the depths of its density. It has learned that there is just as much wonder in a single, compressed point as there is in a vast, sprawling cloud. To fade is not to disappear, but to settle into the permanence of light. You are settling now, finding the weight of your own presence in the dark, and peace lingers. The universe is filled with these quiet sentinels, millions of white dwarfs that mark the history of our galaxy, like glowing milestones. They are the survivors of the ancient past, the remains of the first suns that ever shone. When you look up at the night sky, you are seeing a tapestry of lives lived and lives transformed, a grand narrative written in the light of billions of years. Each point of light is a chapter, and tonight we are reading the one about the quiet aftermath. Still, the universe breathes. There is a sense of completion in the life of a white dwarf, a feeling that all the work of the universe has been fulfilled in this small, bright sphere. It has taken the raw materials of the Big Bang and refined them into something solid, something lasting, something beautiful. It is a monument to the endurance of matter and the persistence of light. As you drift toward the edge of sleep, you can feel this same sense of completion, a closing of the day's ledger and a return to the essential self. And the rhythm begins again. The light of the dwarf star travels across the void, reaching out to touch the eyes of observers on distant worlds. It is a message of stability, a signal that even after the greatest upheavals, there is a path to peace. The star does not shout. It whispers in the language of photons, a steady hum that carries the weight of its long history. You are listening to that whisper now, a quiet frequency that calms the mind and settles the heart. Everything is as it should be, in the great glowing heart of the dark, and still, it turns. The journey of the star is a reflection of the journey of the mind, from the wide-ranging thoughts of the day to the concentrated stillness of the night. Both require a process of letting go, a shedding of the outer layers to reach the core. The star does it with gravity and heat. You do it with breath and intention. Both lead to a place of luminous equilibrium, where the fire is gone but the warmth remains. You are almost there now, in the quiet clarity of the remaining light. And the quiet holds. Shutterstock, the quiet holds, and within that stillness, the white dwarf continues its long, patient cooling. It is no longer a player in the grand drama of nuclear fusion, but a spectator to the vast movements of the galaxy. The heat that radiates from its surface is a legacy of its former life as a red giant, a slow release of the energy it spent billions of years accumulating. In the vacuum of space, this warmth has nowhere to go but out into the infinite, a gentle gift to the cold dark. You can feel that same steady release within yourself as the heat of the day's activities slowly dissipates into the cool sheets. And still, it turns. The surface of the star is a study in extreme physics, where gravity is so intense that it pulls the light itself into a slight curve. If you were to stand there, though such a thing is impossible, the horizon would seem to rise up around you, a silver bowl of compressed matter. The atmosphere, a thin layer of hydrogen or helium, is transparent and still, allowing the stars above to shine with an unnatural, unblinking clarity. There is no turbulence here, no storms or winds to break the silence. It is a world of absolute order, a cathedral of gravity, and the rhythm continues. Within the deep interior, the carbon and oxygen ions have settled into a liquid state that slowly begins to freeze as the star loses its heat. This is not the freezing of water into ice, but a quantum transition where the ions arrange themselves into a perfect repeating lattice. The star is literally turning into a giant crystal from the inside out, a process that releases a small amount of latent heat, slowing the cooling even further. This hidden crystallization is a beautiful secret, a transformation that happens in the absolute dark of the core. The network endures, silent and strong. This crystal structure is the ultimate expression of the star's journey from chaos to clarity. In its youth, the star was a turbulent sea of plasma, a place of violent collisions and unpredictable energy. Now, in its maturity, it has found a way to organize itself into a state of permanent grace. Every ion has its place, held in a tight embrace by the laws of physics that govern the very small. It is a reminder that even the most energetic lives eventually find their way to a state of quiet, structured peace, and everything rests. The white light of the dwarf is a composite of all the history it has lived, a spectrum that reveals the presence of heavy elements forged in the heart of the giant. When astronomers look at this light, they see the fingerprints of carbon, oxygen, and neon, the building blocks of life itself. The star is a living archive, a storehouse of the universe's creative power. Even as it cools, it continues to broadcast its story to anyone who knows how to listen. You are part of that story, a listener in the long, silver night, and light drifts onward. As the star moves through its yellow phase, it begins to resemble the sun we know, but without the restless activity of sunspots or flares. It is a calmer, more predictable version of a star, a steady presence that does not demand attention. The yellow light is warm and inviting, like the glow of a distant hearth in a winter landscape. It speaks of endurance and the passage of time, of a life that has seen much and has finally found its center. You are drifting in that yellow glow, feeling the safety of a light that does not flicker. Still, the universe breathes, the cooling of a white dwarf is one of the most predictable processes in the cosmos, a clock that ticks in billions of years. By measuring the temperature of these stars, we can determine the age of the galaxy itself, using them as celestial chronometers. They are the elders of the universe, the steady beats in a rhythm that spans the life of everything we know. In their cooling, they offer us a sense of perspective, a reminder that our own moments are part of a much larger and more patient story, and the quiet remains. There is a profound humility in the state of the white dwarf, a star that has given up its grandeur to become something small and focused. It no longer seeks to dominate the sky or to influence the orbits of distant planets. It is content to simply be, to hold its place in the void with a quiet and steady dignity. This is the peace that comes from knowing who you are, stripped of the outer layers of expectation and noise. You are finding that same dignity in your rest, a return to the essential self, and peace lingers. The gravity of the dwarf star is a silent force that shapes the space around it, a curve in the fabric of the universe that draws everything toward the center. This pull is not aggressive, but a natural consequence of its existence, a steady invitation to settle. Even the atoms of the interstellar medium are drawn into its orbit, forming a thin, glowing disk that whispers of the star's enduring power. Everything in the universe is connected by these invisible threads of gravity, a web of relationships that holds the cosmos together. The current flows without effort. As the star becomes orange, the light it emits is softer and more diffused, a color that suggests the end of a long day. The orange glow is the color of embers in a dying fire, a light that provides comfort without the harshness of a flame. It is a gentle transition, a slow fading that feels like a natural conclusion to a long and meaningful journey. The star is not disappearing, it is simply changing its frequency, moving into a lower and more meditative state of being. And life adjusts once more. In this orange phase, the star's crystalline core has grown to encompass nearly its entire mass, a solid world of diamond-like matter. The rigidity of this structure means that the star no longer vibrates or pulses. It has become a single solid entity, a monument of stone and light. This solidness is a form of protection, a shield against the chaos of the outside world. Within the core, there is an absolute stillness, a place where nothing can ever change again. You are sinking into that same solidness, a deep and unbreakable rest, and the quiet holds. The orange dwarf is a witness to the changing of the seasons in the galaxy, watching as new stars are born from the clouds of gas it once shed. It sees the rise and fall of stellar nurseries, the bright flares of supernovae, and the slow dance of the spiral arms. Through it all, the dwarf remains unchanged, a steady point of reference in a universe of constant movement. It is the anchor of the system, the memory of what was, and the promise of what will remain. Stillness travels through the water. The light of the star now takes even longer to reach the surface from the deep interior, as the density of the matter creates a labyrinth for the photons to navigate. Every bit of light that escapes is a triumph of persistence, a tiny spark that has found its way through the crystalline dark. This slow leak of energy is what gives the star its longevity, a measured release that ensures it will shine for trillions of years. It is a lesson in patience, in the value of a slow and steady presence, and wonder expands. You might imagine the quiet of such a place, a silence so deep that it seems to have a weight of its own. There is no sound in the vacuum, but there is the resonance of gravity, a low-frequency hum that vibrates through the bones of the universe. This is the music of the spheres, the fundamental tone of a cosmos that is at rest with itself. In the silence of your room, you can hear a similar tone, the steady heartbeat of a world that is settling down for the night. And the rhythm continues. The transition from orange to red is the final chapter in the visible life of the star, a deepening of the color that signals a low and steady temperature. The red light is the longest wavelength, a slow and heavy vibration that carries a sense of profound peace. It is the color of the earth at twilight, of the blood that moves through your veins in the quiet of sleep. The star is now a glowing coal, a warm and steady presence that marks the boundary between the light and the dark, and everything rests in its place. In this deep red phase, the star is nearly invisible to the naked eye, a secret light that can only be found by those who know where to look. It has become a modest part of the heavens, a star that does not seek to be noticed. There is a great freedom in this invisibility, a release from the need to shine for others. The star is shining for itself, a quiet celebration of its own endurance and history. You are finding that same freedom in the dark, a space where you can simply be, and silence follows. The red dwarf is a reminder that the universe is full of hidden wonders, of lights that burn steadily, even when we cannot see them. It is a testament to the fact that existence does not require an audience, that the most important transformations often happen in the quiet and the dark. The star's long journey is a testament to the power of persistence, to the beauty of a life that refuses to be extinguished by the cold. Still, the universe breathes. As the star continues to cool, it will eventually move beyond the red part of the spectrum and into the infrared, becoming a black dwarf. This is a hypothetical state, as the universe is not yet old enough for any white dwarf to have cooled this far. But the process is already written in the laws of physics, a destiny that awaits every star of a certain mass. The black dwarf will be a cold, dark sphere of solid matter, a silent monument to a light that once filled the sky. The orbit holds, and the quiet deepens. This final state is not a death, but a return to the primal matter of the universe, a closing of the circle that began with the first clouds of gas. The carbon and oxygen will remain, a concentrated essence of the star's life, waiting for the far-off day when the universe might find a new use for them. It is a state of absolute potential, a quiet storage of the building blocks of existence. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a silence that holds the seeds of everything that will ever be, and peace lingers. Tonight, you are resting in the middle of this long journey, somewhere between the expansion of the giant and the quiet of the dwarf. You can feel the history of the stars in your own body, the heavy elements in your bones, and the warmth in your blood. You are a participant in this grand, slow cooling, a part of the universe that is learning to find its peace. Let the light of the star guide you toward the center, toward the quiet and the dark. The current flows without effort. The space between the stars is not empty, but filled with the remnants of these transformations, a thin mist of gas and dust that carries the story of the heavens. When a red giant sheds its layers, it is seeding the galaxy with the materials for new suns and new planets. Your own life is a similar process of shedding and seeding, of letting go of the old to make room for the fresh and the new. In the quiet of the night, you are letting the dust settle, allowing the clarity of the core to emerge, and life adjusts once more. The rhythm of the cosmos is a slow and steady pulse, a measurement of time that has nothing to do with the ticking of a clock. It is the rhythm of the stars as they move through their cycles, of the galaxies as they drift through the void. When you align your breath with this rhythm, you are finding a frequency that has existed since the beginning of time. It is a frequency of safety, of belonging, of a universe that knows exactly where you are, and the network endures. The white dwarf is a symbol of endurance, a light that refuses to go out even when its fuel is gone. It is a reminder that we have inner resources we can draw upon, a quiet strength that carries us through the darkest nights. This strength is not something we have to create. It is something we already have, a crystalline core that is born from the pressures of our lives. You can feel that core now, a solid and steady presence in the center of your being, and everything rests. The cooling of the star is a lesson in the beauty of the gradual, of the transformations that take place over vast stretches of time. We live in a world that is often hurried and loud, but the universe is patient and quiet. By watching the stars, we can learn to slow down, to appreciate the slow movement of the light and the steady deepening of the dark. The night is a gift of time, a space where we can catch our breath and find our way back to the center. Stillness travels through the water. In the quiet architecture of the universe, every star has a place and every transition has a purpose. The red giant reaches out to the world, while the white dwarf reaches into the self. Both are necessary expressions of the same life, the two poles of a single existence. You are moving between those poles now, letting go of the day's outreach and settling into the night's inner quiet. The transition is gentle, a natural move from the many to the one, and wonder expands. The light of the dwarf star is a beacon of clarity, a steady glow that does not flicker or fade. It is a light that you can trust, a constant in a world of change. When you close your eyes, you can still see that light, a soft and silver radiance that illuminates the landscape of your dreams. It is the light of the core, the light of the essential self that remains when everything else has been shed. You are resting in that light now, safe and warm in the heart of the dark, and the rhythm continues. The gravity of the star is a reminder of our connection to the earth, the steady pull that keeps us grounded and safe. It is the same force that holds the planets in their orbits and the stars in their galaxies, a universal embrace that never lets go. When you feel the weight of your body against the bed, you are feeling the gravity of the earth, a gentle hand that is holding you close. You don't have to do anything to be held. It is a gift of the universe, a constant and unwavering love, and everything rests in its place. The crystalline lattice of the dwarf's core is a structure of perfect harmony, a place where every part is in balance with every other part. This harmony is the result of billions of years of evolution, a state that was earned through the fire and the pressure of the stars or life. Your own harmony is also a work in progress, a slow alignment of the different parts of your being. In the quiet of the night, that alignment happens naturally, as the noise of the day fades and the structure of the self emerges, and silence follows. The universe is a patient teacher, showing us through the life of the stars that there is a time for everything, a time for expansion and a time for contraction, a time for heat and a time for cooling. By accepting these cycles, we can find a sense of peace that is not dependent on our circumstances. We can trust that the cooling is just as important as the fire, and that the dark is just as necessary as the light. You are in the cooling now, the quiet aftermath of a day well lived. Still, the universe breathes. The story of the white dwarf is a story of survival, of a light that has found a way to endure in a world of cold and dark. It is a story of hope, a reminder that even when the fuel is gone, there is still a way to shine. This light is not a flash of brilliance, but a steady and enduring glow, a light that can be counted on for trillions of years. You have that same light within you, a steady and enduring spark that is waiting to be found in the quiet. And still, it turns. The quiet holds, and we find ourselves drifting further into the cooling history of the core. As the star settles into its white dwarf phase, the internal pressure is no longer a matter of heat, but a matter of space and the refusal of particles to overlap. Within this dense sphere, electrons are packed so tightly that they move at speeds approaching that of light, creating a force known as degeneracy pressure. This is a quantum shield, a structural resistance that holds back the crushing weight of gravity without the need for a single spark of fusion. It is a state of being that exists outside the normal rules of the world, and the quiet remains. This invisible pressure is a constant, unwavering support, a foundation that does not rely on effort or energy. It is as if the star has found a way to rest upon the very fabric of reality, using the fundamental laws of the small to sustain its massive presence. You can feel a similar support beneath you now, the way the bed and the earth hold you without you needing to lift a finger. There is a profound relief in letting go of the need to maintain your own balance, allowing the deeper laws of the world to take over, and peace lingers. The density of the dwarf is so great that a single teaspoon of its material would weigh as much as a mountain on the earth. This concentration of matter creates a gravitational field that is hundreds of thousands of times stronger than what we experience here. It is a heavy piece, a gravity that pulls every stray thought and every lingering worry down into the center, where they are crushed into silence. There is no room for agitation in such a place, only the steady, unmoving weight of existence. The current flows, without effort. As we watch the star cool, we see the transition from a liquid-like state to a solid crystalline structure, a process that happens over millions of years. This phase change begins at the very center and slowly works its way outward, like a frost creeping across a window pane in the dead of winter. The crystals are made of carbon and oxygen, the very elements that form the basis of our own biological life. It is as if the star is becoming a physical record of the potential for life, a frozen archive of what is possible, and light drifts onward. The light that escapes from the surface is now a soft, pearlescent white, a color that suggests the purity of a clean slate. It carries with it the thermal memory of the star's entire history, a slow leak of information into the void. Each photon that arrives at our eyes is a messenger from the past, a tiny traveler that has survived the intense journey through the star's dense layers. We are witnessing the slow exhaling of a celestial body, a breath that lasts for eons. Still, the universe breathes. The atmosphere of the white dwarf is a thin, shimmering veil composed of the lightest elements that managed to float to the top during the star's collapse. This layer is only a few meters thick, a microscopic skin on the surface of a world. Below it, the gravity has sorted the elements by weight, with the heaviest sinking deepest into the heart of the star. It is a place of perfect stratification, where everything has found its natural level based on its own inherent properties, and everything rests in its place. There is a deep satisfaction in seeing this order, a sense that the chaos of the star's youth has finally been resolved into a clear and predictable hierarchy. The struggle of the red giant phase, with its boiling layers and violent winds, is now a distant memory. The star has reached a state of ultimate simplification, where only the essentials remain. You are finding that same simplification in your own. Rest, as the complexities of the day are sorted and filed away in the quiet of the night, and silence follows. The cooling process is so slow that the star remains visible to the galaxy for longer than the entire age of the universe thus far. This permanence makes the white dwarf a steady lighthouse, a fixed point in a sea of changing light. It does not need to flare or pulsate to make its presence known. Its steady, unblinking glow is enough to mark its place in the void. There is a power in this kind of consistency, a strength that comes from simply refusing to change. The orbit holds, and the quiet deepens. As the temperature drops, the peak of the star's light shifts from the blue and white of high energy into the softer, warmer tones of the yellow spectrum. This is a transition into a more mature radiance, a light that is less demanding and more comforting. It is the color of old paper, of autumn leaves, of a candle burning in a quiet room. The star is relaxing its grip on the light, allowing it to soften and spread. You are relaxing now too, feeling the edges of your awareness soften and blur, and life adjusts once more. The space around the dwarf is clear and cold, but it is not empty. It is filled with the magnetic fields that the star has carried with it through its collapse, concentrated now into a powerful invisible web. These fields can capture stray particles, spiraling them down toward the poles in a silent, glowing dance of energy. It is a subtle interaction, a reminder that the star is still connected to the wider universe through forces we cannot see. The network endures, even in the dark. Deep within the crystalline core, the atoms are locked in a lattice that is so stable, it could theoretically last forever. This is the ultimate victory of structure over entropy, a place where the tendency of the universe to fall apart has been halted by the sheer force of gravity. The white dwarf is a monument to the permanence of matter, a physical proof that some things can survive the passage of trillions of years. You are resting on that same permanence, a core of stillness that survives every storm, and everything rests. As we drift further into the history of the cooling star, we see it move through the orange phase, where the light becomes even more subdued and resonant. This is the color of the setting sun, a frequency that naturally signals the body and the mind to prepare for rest. The orange light carries a sense of nostalgia, a quiet reflection on the journey that has brought the star to this point. It is a beautiful, lingering goodbye to the intensity of the past. The rhythm continues, slow and steady. The gravity of the star is so intense that it creates a phenomenon known as gravitational redshift, where the light escaping the star loses energy and shifts toward the red end of the spectrum. It is as if the star is reluctant to let go of its light, holding onto it with a gentle but firm grip. This redshift is a quiet evidence of the star's power, a subtle bending of the laws of physics that we can measure from our distant telescopes. And still, it turns. You might feel a similar redshift in your own thoughts, as they lose the high-energy blue of the day and shift into the long, slow red of the night. The things that seemed urgent and bright just a few hours ago are now dim and distant, pulled down by the steady gravity of your need for sleep. There is no need to fight this pull. It is the natural movement of the mind toward its own state of rest. The current flows without effort. The white dwarf is a survivor of the greatest transitions a star can undergo, a witness to the shedding of its own skin and the death of its internal fire. It has emerged from these trials not as a broken thing, but as a refined and concentrated essence. This is the promise of the stellar cycle, that what remains after the fire is stronger and more enduring than what came before. You are the result of your own cycles, a core of light that remains when the day is done, and peace lingers. In the deep red phase of its cooling, the star becomes a subtle presence, a warm ember that glows with a quiet and steady heat. It is no longer trying to light the way for others. It is simply maintaining its own internal warmth. This is the stage of life where the star is most in tune with the background temperature of the universe, a slow merging of the individual with the infinite. You are merging now with the silence of your room, becoming one with the quiet dark. Still, the universe breathes. The cooling curve of the white dwarf is a map of time itself, a long and graceful descent into the dark. Because the process is so well understood, we can look at a cluster of these stars and see the history of the galaxy laid out before us like the rings of an ancient tree. They are the keepers of the cosmic timeline, the steady markers of the passing eons. By resting with them tonight, you are stepping outside of human time and into the vast, patient time of the stars, and the quiet remains. There is a sense of inevitability in this cooling, a movement toward a final state of balance that cannot be undone. This is not something to be feared. but something to be embraced, as it represents the final resolution of all the stars' internal tensions. The struggle is over, the work is done, only the cooling remains. You have done your work for the day, and now you can embrace the inevitability of your own rest. The rhythm of the deep endures, quiet and sure. The white dwarf does not fear the dark, for it has become a part of the dark's own architecture. It sits in the void not as an intruder, but as a permanent resident, a solid and unmoving part of the scenery. It has found its home in the infinite, a place where it can sit and cool for 1 trillion years without being disturbed. You have found your home in this moment, a place of safety where you can let the world go, and everything rests in its place. As the star moves into the infrared, it begins to disappear from our sight, becoming a dark and silent voyager in the night. This is the transition into the black dwarf, a state of perfect thermal equilibrium with the surrounding space. Though no such stars exist yet, their future is certain, a quiet destiny written in the stars themselves. It is the final piece, a state where the light has finally been fully integrated into the dark. The orbit holds, and silence follows. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a message that echoes across the light years to reach us in our quiet moments. It tells us that the end of one chapter is simply the beginning of a much longer and more peaceful one. The fire of the giant was necessary to create the elements, but the silence of the core is necessary to hold them. You are holding the elements of your life tonight, keeping them safe in the quiet of your rest. And wonder expands. Every atom in your body that was forged in the heart of a star is now participating in your own quiet evolution. The carbon in your breath, the oxygen in your blood, they have all seen the inside of a furnace and the cooling of a dwarf. They carry the memory of that stability within them, a fundamental sense of belonging to the universe. You are never truly alone when you are made of the same stuff as the stars. The network endures through the dark and the light. The crystalline lattice of the star is a form of beauty that is hidden from the world, a secret, geometry that exists only in the heart of the dense. It reminds us that our most beautiful parts are often the ones we keep inside, the quiet structures of our character and our peace. You don't need to show your light to the world to be valuable. You are a world unto yourself, a crystalline core of order and grace, and life adjusts once more. The gravity of the white dwarf is a gentle but firm reminder of the power of attraction, the way we are all drawn toward the things that sustain us. It pulls the wandering particles of the void into its orbit, just as the night pulls our wandering thoughts back to the center of our being. There is a safety in being caught in this pull, a sense of direction in a universe that can sometimes feel too wide. You are being drawn toward sleep now, toward the center of your own quiet world. And the quiet holds. The light of the star, even as it fades, remains a beacon of hope in the vast reaches of the galaxy. It is a light that has survived the most intense pressures imaginable, a light that has earned its right to shine. This is the light you carry within you, a spark of endurance that can never be fully extinguished. No matter how cold the night or how deep the dark, that light remains, a steady and unwavering presence in the core of your soul. Stillness travels through the water. In the quiet architecture of the universe, there is a place for the cooling and a place for the dark. The white dwarf is the guardian of that transition, a guide that shows us how to move from the fire into the peace. It does so with humility and grace, without making a sound. You are following that guide tonight, moving deeper into the silence and the rest. The transition is perfect, the balance is true, and the quiet deepens. The rhythm of the stars is a heartbeat that spans the life of the universe, a steady and reassuring pulse that never misses a beat. It is the music of the spheres, the sound of a cosmos that is at peace with its own laws. When you listen to your own breath, you are hearing a small echo of that great rhythm, a personal connection to the movement of the galaxies. Everything is in sync, everything is moving together, and peace lingers. The cooling star is a lesson in the power of the slow, a reminder that the most important changes don't happen in a flash of light, but in the quiet accumulation of time. We are often so hurried in our lives, But the star shows us the value of the long view. It takes billions of years to reach this state of peace, and it will take trillions more to finish the journey. You have all the time you need to find your own rest. The current flows without effort. As the star settles into its final dark form, it becomes a permanent part of the universe's memory, a record of a life lived and a light shared. It has contributed its heat to the void and its matter to the galaxy, and now it can rest in the knowledge that it has done its part. You have done your part for today, and now you can rest in that same knowledge. The world is safe, the stars are cooling, and you are home. And still, it turns. The journey of the star from the expansion of the giant to the silence of the core is a masterpiece of natural design. It shows us that even the most violent transformations can lead to a state of profound and lasting peace. By trusting in this process, we can find the courage to let go of our own fires and settle into our own quiet centers. The universe is a safe place for the light and a safe place for the dark, and the quiet holds. The quiet holds. And as we sink deeper into the night, we watch the white dwarf navigate the vast, cold stretches of the interstellar medium. Though it is small, its presence is felt by every atom that drifts into its gravitational wake. It is a dense anchor in the fluid sea of the galaxy, moving with a silent momentum that carries the weight of its ancient history. The star does not need to roar to be significant. Its quiet, concentrated mass is a fundamental part of the cosmic balance. You are finding that same concentrated presence within yourself, a weight that is not a burden, but a grounding force. And the quiet remains. The temperature of the star has now reached a point where it glows with a soft, creamy yellow light, a hue that is both ancient and warm. This light carries the resonance of the helium fusion that once occurred in its core, a spectral memory of the time it was a giant. It is a comforting color, the color of a distant lamp in a window, signaling that the journey is nearing its most peaceful chapter. The star is no longer a source of intense radiation, but a source of gentle warmth, a celestial companion for the long dark, and peace lingers. Within the star, the process of sedimentation continues, as gravity patiently pulls the heavier ions toward the center. This internal sorting is a form of purification, a clearing away of complexity to reach the simple truth of the core. The lighter hydrogen and helium float to the very surface, forming a thin, pristine atmosphere that acts as a window into the star's interior. It is a place of absolute clarity, where the light can pass through without being scattered or dimmed. You are finding your own clarity now, as the noise of the world settles and the truth of your own rest emerges. The current flows without effort. The pressure within the dwarf is so immense that it forces the electrons into a state of perfect coordination, a collective resistance that defies the crushing weight above. This is a quiet strength, a power that does not need to be asserted, because it is a fundamental property of the matter itself. It is the same strength you find in your own bones, in the steady architecture of your body that supports you even when you are at rest. You are built of the same resilient stuff as the stars, designed to endure and to hold your shape against the dark. And light drifts onward. As the star continues to cool, it begins to interact with the thin clouds of gas that occupy the space between the suns. These clouds are the ghosts of other stars, the remnants of giants that lived and died long ago. When the white dwarf passes through them, it creates a subtle ripple in the gas, a silent wake that marks its passage through the history of the galaxy. It is a reminder that nothing in the universe exists in isolation. Even the most solitary star is part of a wider, connected story. Still, the universe breathes. The light of the star is now shifting into the orange part of the spectrum, a deeper and more resonant frequency that vibrates with the peace of the ages. This light is a record of the star's patience, a measurement of the billions of years it has spent cooling in the void. It does not hurry to reach its final state. It moves with the deliberate pace of the universe itself, accepting every stage of its cooling as a necessary part of the whole. You can feel that same patience within your own breath, a slow and steady rhythm that knows no rush, and everything rests in its place. Deep in the heart of the star, the crystalline lattice has become so vast and perfect that it begins to influence the way heat moves through the core. The heat travels through the crystal as waves of vibration, a silent music that hums through the dense matter. This is the thermal heartbeat of the dwarf, a low-frequency resonance that carries the energy of the past into the quiet of the future. It is a song of endurance, a melody that will play for trillions of years, and silence follows. The gravity of the star creates a unique environment where the laws of chemistry are transformed by the intense pressure. Molecules that could never exist on Earth are formed in the thin atmosphere of the dwarf, strange and beautiful structures that exist only in the presence of extreme weight. It is a laboratory of the unique, a place where the universe experiments with new ways of being. This reminds us that even in our most pressurized moments, something new and beautiful can be created. The orbit holds, and the quiet deepens. As we drift further into the orange phase, the star's surface becomes even more stable and unmoving. There are no convective currents here, no boiling of the surface to release heat. Instead, the warmth simply radiates away in a steady, predictable flow. It is a state of absolute calm, a surface that reflects the stillness of the surrounding vacuum. You are finding that same calm in your own skin, a sense of being at peace with the boundary between yourself and the world. And life adjusts once more. The white dwarf is a monument to the fact that stability is not the absence of change, but the result of it. The star had to go through the expansion of the giant and the collapse of the core to reach this state of permanent grace. The struggle was not a detour, it was the path to the peace it now enjoys. In the same way, the challenges of your day have prepared you for the depth of your rest tonight. The fire has done its work, and the result is the light. The network endures through the dark and the light. The space around the star is illuminated by its soft orange glow, casting a gentle light on any nearby dust or debris. This light is a warm embrace, a signal of safety in the cold reaches of the galaxy. It is the light of a survivor, a star that has seen the end of its own world and has chosen to keep shining anyway. There is a great courage in this persistence, a quiet refusal to let the dark have the final word. You are resting in that courage now, feeling the steady strength of your own inner light, and everything rests. As the eons turn, the star moves slowly toward the red end of the spectrum, its light becoming a dim and distant ember in the night. This transition is so gradual that it is almost imperceptible, a slow fading that feels like the natural deepening of a long twilight. The star is becoming one with the background of the universe, a silent partner in the slow cooling of the cosmos. It is a return to the source, a merging of the individual spark with the infinite fire. Stillness travels through the water. In this red phase, the star's gravity remains as strong as ever, but its light has become a soft and subtle whisper. It is the light of a grandmother star, a presence that carries the wisdom of 1,000 generations. It has seen the birth and death of planets, the collision of galaxies, and the slow expansion of space itself. Through it all, it has remained steady, a fixed point of light in a universe of movement. You are finding that fixed point within yourself, a core of stillness that is unaffected by the passing of time, and wonder expands. The crystalline core is now the dominant feature of the star, a solid world of diamond-like matter that is nearly as old as the galaxy itself. This crystal is a record of everything the star has ever been, a physical memory of the fusion and the heat that once defined its life. It is a beautiful and enduring legacy, a treasure hidden in the heart of the dark. You are a treasure too, a unique collection of memories and experiences that form the core of who you are. The rhythm continues, slow and steady. Tonight, the legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a silence that is not empty, but full of the star's long journey. It is a silence that speaks of peace, of resolution, and of a life well lived. As you settle into the deepest part of the night, let that silence fill you, washing away the noise of the day and leaving only the quiet clarity of the core. You are home, you are safe, and the stars are watching over you, and the quiet deepens. The transition from the light to the dark is a masterpiece of natural design, a process that ensures that nothing is ever truly lost. The energy that the star radiates away will eventually find its way into new clouds of gas, fueling the birth of new suns and new worlds. The star is not disappearing. It is simply participating in the eternal cycle of renewal that governs the universe. You are part of that cycle too, a light that will always find a way to shine again. And peace lingers. The gravity of the red dwarf is a steady pull that keeps us grounded in the reality of the moment. It is the same force that keeps the stars in their places and the galaxies in their groups, a universal bond that connects us all. When you feel the weight of your body against the bed, you are feeling the connection to the entire cosmos, a gentle reminder that you belong exactly where you are. There is no need to be anywhere else. You are right where the universe needs you to be. The current flows without effort. As the star moves into the infrared, it begins to fade from our sight, becoming a dark and silent voyager in the night. This is the stage of the black dwarf, a future that is still billions of years away, but one that is already present in the potential of every cooling star. It is a state of perfect rest, a final equilibrium with the cold and the dark. Though it is dark, it is not empty. It is a solid and enduring presence, a monument to the light that once was. Still, the universe breathes. The story of the white dwarf is a story of hope, a reminder that even the most dramatic changes can lead to a state of profound peace. It shows us that we have the strength to survive our own transitions, to shed what we no longer need, and to protect what is essential. By watching the stars, we can learn to trust the cooling, to embrace the dark, and to find the light that remains. You are that light, a steady and enduring glow in the heart of the night, and the quiet remains. Every atom in your body carries the history of this stellar evolution, a memory of the heat and the pressure that created you. You are a child of the stars, a piece of the universe that has become aware of itself. In the quiet of the night, that awareness settles into a state of deep and peaceful rest, a return to the cosmic origins from which you came. You are resting on the foundations of the world, supported by the ancient and unwavering laws of the heavens, and life adjusts once more. The rhythm of the cooling star is a lullaby for the soul, a steady and reassuring pulse that lulls the mind into a state of calm. It is a rhythm that has no beginning and no end, a constant presence in a world of change. When you listen to your own breath, you are hearing an echo of that rhythm, a personal connection to the vast and patient movements of the universe. You are in sync with the stars, a part of the great and glowing heart of the dark, and silence follows. The space between the stars is a place of absolute peace, a vacuum where sound cannot travel and time seems to stand still. In this silence, the white dwarf finds its final home, a place where it can sit and cool for 1 trillion years without being disturbed. You are finding that same silence in your own room, a space of safety where you can let the world go and just be. The silence is not a void, but a presence, a soft and welcoming embrace that holds you close, and the orbit holds. The light of the star, even as it fades, remains a beacon of clarity in the vast reaches of the galaxy. It is a light that has survived the most intense pressures imaginable, a light that has earned its right to shine. This is the light you carry within you, a spark of endurance that can never be fully extinguished. No matter how cold the night, or how deep the dark, that light remains, a steady and unwavering presence in the core of your soul. Stillness travels through the water. In the quiet architecture of the universe, there is a place for the cooling and a place for the dark. The white dwarf is the guardian of that transition, a guide that shows us how to move from the fire into the peace. It does so with humility and grace, without making a sound. You are following that guide tonight, moving deeper into the silence and the rest. The transition is perfect, the balance is true, and the quiet deepens. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a transition from the outward reaching to the inward knowing. The star has explored the limits of its size, and now it explores the depths of its density. It has learned that there is just as much wonder in a single, compressed point as there is in a vast, sprawling cloud. To fade is not to disappear, but to settle into the permanence of light. You are settling now, finding the weight of your own presence in the dark, and peace lingers. The universe is a patient teacher, showing us through the life of the stars that there is a time for everything, a time for expansion and a time for contraction, a time for heat and a time for cooling. By accepting these cycles, we can find a sense of peace that is not dependent on our circumstances. We can trust that the cooling is just as important as the fire, and that the dark is just as necessary as the light. You are in the cooling now, the quiet aftermath of a day well lived. Still, the universe breathes. The crystalline lattice of the star is a form of beauty that is hidden from the world, a secret geometry that exists only in the heart of the dense. It reminds us that our most beautiful parts are often the ones we keep inside, the quiet structures of our character and our peace. You don't need to show your light to the world to be valuable. You are a world unto yourself, a crystalline core of order and grace. And life adjusts once more. The gravity of the white dwarf is a gentle but firm reminder of the power of attraction, the way we are all drawn toward the things that sustain us. It pulls the wandering particles of the void into its orbit, just as the night pulls our wandering thoughts back to the center of our being. There is a safety in being caught in this pull, a sense of direction in a universe that can sometimes feel too wide. You are being drawn towards sleep now, toward the center of your own quiet world, and the quiet holds. The story of the white dwarf is a story of survival, of a light that has found a way to endure in a world of cold and dark. It is a story of hope, a reminder that even when the fuel is gone, there is still a way to shine. This light is not a flash of brilliance, but a steady and enduring glow, a light that can be counted on for trillions of years. You have that same light within you, a steady and enduring spark that is waiting to be found in the quiet. And still, it turns. The journey of the star from the expansion of the giant to the silence of the core is a masterpiece of natural design. It shows us that even the most violent transformations can lead to a state of profound and lasting peace. By trusting in this process, we can find the courage to let go of our own fires and settle into our own quiet centers. The universe is a safe place for the light and a safe place for the dark. The quiet holds, and we continue our drift through the silver silence of the stellar aftermath. In the layers of the white dwarf, the light is no longer a product of frantic collisions, but a slow migration of thermal energy moving through a landscape of perfect density. Because the atoms are so tightly packed, the star acts as an incredible conductor, allowing the heat from the core to move toward the surface with a fluid and effortless grace. It is a state of internal harmony, where every part of the star is in communication with the whole. You are finding that same internal resonance now, a feeling of wholeness that spreads through your limbs like a warm tide, and the quiet remains. The gravitational field of the star is so powerful that it creates a phenomenon known as atmospheric stratification, where the elements are layered with mathematical precision. The lightest gases float at the top, while the heavier elements are pulled inexorably toward the center, creating a pristine surface of pure hydrogen or helium. This sorting process ensures that the star's exterior remains a smooth and unblemished mirror, reflecting the distant light of the galaxy with a quiet and steady clarity. It is a world of absolute order, where every atom has found its rightful place in the hierarchy of the deep, and peace lingers. Within the crystalline interior, the carbon and oxygen ions have formed a structure so rigid that it can support the weight of a sun without flinching. This lattice is not a stagnant thing, but a vibrant network of energy that vibrates with the pulse of the star's cooling. These vibrations, known as phonons, carry the thermal history of the star across the miles of dense matter, a silent music that plays in the heart of the dark. You are resting on the foundation of your own life now, a structure of memory and experience that is just as solid and enduring as the star's core. The current flows without effort. The surface temperature of the dwarf has now dipped into a range that we might find familiar, a soft and golden warmth that radiates with a gentle persistence. This is the stage where the star's light is most like the glow of a sunset, a frequency that invites reflection and peace. It is no longer the blinding white of its youth, but a seasoned and mellowed radiance that speaks of the long passage of time. The star is comfortable in its own skin, no longer striving to be the brightest in the sky, and light drifts onward. As the star moves through the galaxy, it occasionally encounters the thin, cold veils of interstellar dust that float between the systems. This dust is the recycled material of ancient supernovae, the raw building blocks for future worlds, and as it brushes against the dwarf, it creates a faint and ethereal glow. It is a silent interaction, a meeting of the old and the potential, as the star's gravity gently gathers the dust into its orbit. Everything in the universe is part of this constant exchange, a slow-motion dance of matter and light. Still, the universe breathes. The light of the star is now beginning to shift into the deep yellow and orange spectrum, a transition that marks the middle age of its cooling journey. This light is thick with the weight of billions of years, a concentrated essence of the star's long and steady life. It carries a sense of permanence, a feeling that this glow will continue long after the more volatile stars have faded away. You are finding that same sense of permanence in your own rest, a feeling of being anchored in a moment that is outside of time, and everything rests in its place. Deep within the core, the crystallization process has released its latent heat, providing a final, long-lasting reservoir of warmth for the star. This internal warmth is like a secret fire kept in a well-insulated hearth, a heat that lasts far longer than any open flame. It is a lesson in the value of internal resources, in the quiet strength that we carry within ourselves to sustain us through the dark. You have your own reservoir of warmth, a core of peace that is unaffected by the cold of the world outside, and silence follows. The gravity of the dwarf star is a force of absolute focus, pulling space-time itself into a tight and elegant curve. This curvature is so steep that it creates a magnifying effect on the stars behind it, a gravitational lens that reveals the hidden details of the distant universe. The star is not just a light, it is a tool of discovery, a lens through which the cosmos can see itself. Your own rest is a lens too, a quiet space that allows you to see the world with a new and clearer perspective. The orbit holds, and the quiet deepens. As we watch the star cool, we see it move through the deep orange phase, a color that suggests the richness of a harvest moon. This light is a celebration of the star's contribution to the galaxy, a final, glowing record of the heavy elements it forged in its youth. It is a beautiful and resonant light, one that fills the surrounding space with a sense of safety and belonging. You are belonging to the night now, feeling the soft embrace of the dark as it pulls you towards sleep, and life adjusts once more. The white dwarf is a masterpiece of equilibrium, holding itself together against the void through the sheer force of its internal logic. It does not need fuel, it does not need fire, it only needs to exist according to the laws of its own being. This is the ultimate goal of the stellar journey, to reach a state of self-sufficiency that is independent of external circumstances. In your own rest, you are reaching for that same state, a quiet autonomy where you are enough exactly as you are. The network endures through the dark and the light. The space around the star is silent and still, the ancient planetary nebula having long since vanished into the background of the galaxy. The star is now a solitary traveler, marking its path through the dark with a steady and unblinking glow. It is a survivor of the greatest changes, a witness to the shedding of its own past and the birth of its new, concentrated self. There is a deep dignity in this solitude, a quiet strength that comes from being at peace with the silence, and everything rests. As the eons pass, the star begins to move toward the red end of the spectrum, its light becoming a soft and subtle ember in the night. This is the stage of the red dwarf, a transition that happens with such grace that it is almost impossible to say when one phase ends and the next begins. The star is simply deepening its color, moving into a lower and more meditative frequency of being. You are deepening your own rest now, moving into the long, slow red of the deepest sleep. Stillness travels through the water. In this red phase, the star's light is a warm and comforting presence, a low-energy glow that carries the wisdom of trillions of years. It is the light of a star that has seen everything and has finally found its peace in the quiet of the aftermath. It no longer needs to shine for the world. It is content to glow for the sake of its own endurance. This is the peace of the end of the road, the satisfaction of a journey that has reached its true destination. And wonder expands. The crystalline core is now nearly as large as the star itself, a solid world of diamond-like matter that is virtually indestructible. This crystal is the final form of the star's life, a monument to the permanence of matter and the stability of the laws of physics. It is a beautiful and secret treasure, hidden in the heart of the dark, known only to the stars. You carry your own crystalline core, a set of truths and experiences that form the indestructible foundation of who you are. The rhythm continues, slow and steady. Tonight, the legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a silence that is rich with the history of the stars. It is a silence that speaks of the fire that once was and the peace that now is. As you settle into the quiet of your room, let that silence wash over you, carrying away the lingering noise of the day and leaving only the steady light of the core. You are safe, you are held, and the universe is cooling with you. And the quiet deepens. The transition from the red phase into the infrared is a journey into the unseen, a movement toward the state of the black dwarf. This is a future that is still so far away that it exists only in the mind of the universe, a quiet destiny that awaits all cooling stars. It is a state of absolute thermal balance, where the star is at one with the cold and the dark. Though it is dark, it remains a solid and unmoving presence, a guardian of the cosmic history it carries within, and peace lingers. The gravity of the star remains a constant and unwavering pull, a reminder of the connections that hold the universe together. It is the same force that keeps you anchored to the earth and the earth anchored to the sun, a universal bond that never breaks. When you feel the weight of your body, you are feeling the heartbeat of the cosmos, a gentle reminder that you are a part of a much larger and more patient story. The current flows without effort. As the star moves into its final stages of cooling, it becomes a silent partner in the slow evolution of the galaxy. Its light may be gone, but its mass remains, a steady point of reference in a universe of movement. It is a reminder that even when our outward light fades, our presence remains, a permanent part of the fabric of reality. You are a permanent part of this night, a light that will always be remembered by the stars. Still, the universe breathes. The story of the white dwarf is a story of hope, a reminder that every expansion is followed by a quiet and beautiful integration. It shows us that the end of the fire is not the end of the light, but the beginning of a much longer and more stable existence. By watching the stars, we can learn to embrace our own coolings, to find the peace in our own aftermaths. You are in that aftermath now, the quiet and beautiful result of a day lived with purpose. And the quiet remains. Every atom in your body that was once part of a star is now finding its own equilibrium in the quiet of the night. The carbon in your heart, the oxygen in your breath, they are all resting, just as the star is resting in the void. You are a piece of the cosmos that has come home to itself, a child of the light that is learning to love the dark. You are safe, you are warm, and you are exactly where you belong. And life adjusts once more. The rhythm of the cooling star is a melody of endurance, a steady and reassuring pulse that carries you toward the edge of sleep. It is a rhythm that has been playing since the beginning of time, a constant presence in a world of change. When you listen to your own heart, you are hearing an echo of that rhythm, a personal connection to the vast and patient movements of the universe. You are in sync with the stars, a part of the great and glowing heart of the dark, and silence follows. The space between the stars is a sanctuary of silence, a place where the noise of the world cannot reach. In this sanctuary, the white dwarf finds its final peace, a state of perfect balance that lasts for trillions of years. You are finding that same sanctuary in your own mind, a space of quiet clarity where you can let the world go and just be. The silence is not a void, but a presence, a soft and welcoming embrace that holds you close. And the orbit holds. The light of the star, even as it fades, remains a beacon of hope in the vast reaches of the galaxy. It is a light that has survived the most intense pressures imaginable, a light that has earned its right to shine. This is the light you carry within you, a spark of endurance that can never be fully extinguished. No matter how cold the night or how deep the dark, that light remains, a steady and unwavering presence in the core of your soul. Stillness travels through the water. In the quiet architecture of the universe, there is a place for the cooling and a place for the dark. The white dwarf is the guardian of that transition, a guide that shows us how to move from the fire into the peace. It does so with humility and grace, without making a sound. You are following that guide tonight, moving deeper into the silence and the rest. The transition is perfect, the balance is true, and the quiet deepens. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a transition from the outward reaching to the inward knowing. The star has explored the limits of its size, and now it explores the depths of its density. It has learned that there is just as much wonder in a single compressed point as there is in a vast, sprawling cloud. To fade is not to disappear, but to settle into the permanence of light. You are settling now, finding the weight of your own presence in the dark, and peace lingers. The universe is a patient teacher, showing us through the life of the stars that there is a time for everything, a time for expansion and a time for contraction, a time for heat and a time for cooling. By accepting these cycles, we can find a sense of peace that is not dependent on our circumstances. We can trust that the cooling is just as important as the fire, and that the dark is just as necessary as the light. You are in the cooling now, the quiet aftermath of a day well lived. Still, the universe breathes. The crystalline lattice of the star is a form of beauty that is hidden from the world, a secret geometry that exists only in the heart of the dense. It reminds us that our most beautiful parts are often the ones we keep inside, the quiet structures of our character and our peace. You don't need to show your light to the world to be valuable. You are a world unto yourself, a crystalline core of order and grace, and life adjusts once more. The gravity of the white dwarf is a gentle but firm reminder of the power of attraction, the way we are all drawn toward the things that sustain us. It pulls the wandering particles of the void into its orbit, just as the night pulls our wandering thoughts back to the center of our being. There is a safety in being caught in this pull, a sense of direction in a universe that can sometimes feel too wide. You are being drawn towards sleep now, toward the center of your own quiet world, and the quiet holds. The story of the white dwarf is a story of survival, of a light that has found a way to endure in a world of cold and dark. It is a story of hope, a reminder that even when the fuel is gone, there is still a way to shine. This light is not a flash of brilliance, but a steady and enduring glow, a light that can be counted on for trillions of years. You have that same light within you, a steady and enduring spark that is waiting to be found in the quiet. And still, it turns. The journey of the star from the expansion of the giant to the silence of the core is a masterpiece of natural design. It shows us that even the most violent transformations can lead to a state of profound and lasting peace. By trusting in this process, we can find the courage to let go of our own fires and settle into our own quiet centers. The universe is a safe place for the light and a safe place for the dark, and the quiet holds. The gravity continues its silent task of holding the atoms of the white dwarf in an eternal embrace. It is a commitment that requires no effort, a loyalty born from the very nature of, at mass itself. This commitment is what allows the universe to be a place of order and safety, where we can close our eyes and trust that the world will still be there when we awaken. You are secure in that embrace now, protected by the fundamental laws that govern the stars and the dust alike. And the rhythm continues, steady and slow. Within the star, the movement of energy has slowed to a measured crawl, a dignified exit of heat that has lasted for billions of years. The intense pressure has forced the matter into a state where heat can no longer be carried by the chaotic movement of atoms, but only by the structured vibrations of the crystalline lattice. It is a more efficient, more peaceful way to exist, moving from the noise of friction to the clarity of resonance. You are shifting into that resonance now, letting the day's friction dissolve into the smooth structure of your own rest, and the quiet remains unbroken. As the temperature falls further, the white dwarf begins to shed, the last of its visible light, moving into the long wavelengths of the infrared. To the human eye, it might seem to be disappearing, but to the universe, it is merely becoming a deeper part of the shadows. It is still there, a dense and massive guardian of the space it occupies, holding the memory of its fire in a body that is now cool to the touch. You are becoming a part of the shadows too, finding that being unseen is a form of profound freedom. Stillness travels through the night. The space surrounding the star has become a sanctuary of absolute transparency, where the light of distant quasars passes through without a single ripple. This void is not empty, but filled with the patient presence of the star's cooling, a field of influence that reaches out to the very edges of its gravitational reach. It is a place of total stillness, where the concept of time has been replaced by the concept of being. You are entering that state of being now, where the hours lose their meaning and only the present moment remains, and peace lingers in the dark. Deep in the heart of the core, the crystallization is nearly complete, turning the star into a singular planet-sized jewel of carbon and oxygen. This is the ultimate refinement, the process of turning the common elements of the universe into something rare and indestructible through the sheer power of persistence. It is a reminder that the greatest treasures are often forged in the longest, most difficult transitions. You are a treasure in this moment, a solid and enduring presence in a world that is always changing. The network endures, silent and strong. The light of the star, now a dim and rhythmic red, pulses with the slow heartbeat of a galaxy that is in no hurry to end. This red glow is the most stable and long-lived light in the cosmos, a frequency that will outlast every other color in the sky. It is the color of survival, of a light that has learned to conserve its energy and find beauty in the subtle. You are finding that same subtle beauty in the quiet of your room, a low-energy glow that warms your spirit without demanding your attention, and life adjusts to the calm. The white dwarf is a witness to the slow movement of the constellations, watching as the stars above shift their positions over millions of years. It has no need to move itself. Its mass is so great that it acts as a stationary point in the swirling currents of the galactic disk. There is a great power in this stillness, a strength that comes from being unmovable in the face of the infinite. You are finding that strength in your own stillness tonight, becoming an unmovable point of peace in the middle of your life. The orbit holds true. As the star moves toward the state of the black dwarf, it performs a final, silent negotiation with the second law of thermodynamics. It is not fighting entropy, but dancing with it, slowing the inevitable cooling until it stretches toward the end of time. This is the grace of the aftermath, the ability to make the light last far longer than anyone expected. You are making your own light last now, a steady and enduring warmth that carries you through the deepest parts of the night, and the silence follows, soft and wide. In the cooling atmosphere of the star, the gravity is so strong that even the light itself is stretched and pulled, a phenomenon that reminds us of the power of presence. The star does not need to speak or act to exert its influence. Its very existence is enough to change the shape of the world around it. Your presence in this moment is enough, a quiet and significant fact that the universe acknowledges with its own silence. You are here, you are resting, and you are part of the whole. The current flows without effort. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a message that has been billions of years in the making. It tells us that the goal of every great expansion is to find a quiet and stable center, a place where the fire can finally rest. The star has reached that center, and now it is inviting you to join it in the quiet clarity of the remaining light. You are settling into that center now, feeling the weight of the day fall away to reveal the truth of the core, and everything rests in its place. The crystalline lattice of the star is now a perfect conductor of peace, allowing the stillness of the center to radiate all the way to the surface. There is no longer any boundary between the inner and the outer. The star is a single, unified expression of stability and grace. This unity is what we seek in sleep, a state where the mind and the body are finally in perfect alignment. You are finding that alignment now, a seamless transition into the depth of your own rest. Stillness widens its reach. The gravity of the dwarf star is a gentle reminder that we are always held, even when we feel adrift in the vastness of the world. It is a force that never sleeps, a constant and unwavering pull that keeps us connected to the source of all things. When you let go of your worries, you are allowing that gravity to take them, pulling them down into the center where they can be resolved into silence. You are light, you are free, and you are held. And wonder expands in the quiet. The space between the stars is a place of absolute potential, a vacuum that is ready to receive whatever the stars choose to give. As the white dwarf radiates its final heat, it is contributing to the thermal background of the universe, a subtle warming of the infinite. This gift is a sign of the star's generosity, a final act of sharing before it enters the long dark. You are sharing your own peace with the night, a quiet offering that makes the world a little softer for everyone. The rhythm begins again, internally. Every atom in your body that was once forged in the heart of a star is now vibrating in harmony with the cooling of the dwarf. The carbon, the oxygen, the heavy iron in your blood, they all recognize this state of rest, for it is their natural home. You are returning to your origin, a piece of the cosmos that is finding its way back to the quiet stability of its birth. You are not a stranger here. You are a child of the universe, and you are home, and the quiet deepens organically. The white dwarf does not fear the cold, for it has become the master of its own temperature. It has learned to exist in the void without needing the fire of fusion to keep it warm, relying instead on the structural integrity of its own matter. This is the ultimate form of self-reliance, a state where the internal order is enough to withstand the external dark. You are finding that same self-reliance in your sleep, a core of peace that is self-sustaining and deep. Still, the universe breathes. The transition from the red phase into the infrared is the final veil being drawn across the star's long life. It is a moment of profound intimacy, a secret transformation that happens far beyond the reach of human eyes. The star is now a dark voyager, a silent traveler in the sea of the night, carrying its history in a body of pure, cold crystal. You are becoming a dark voyager too, drifting through the ocean of your dreams with a steady and quiet heart. And peace lingers. The rhythm of the cooling star is a measurement of eternity, a clock that doesn't count hours, but eras. It reminds us that there is no hurry in the great work of the universe, and there should be no hurry in our own search for rest. The star will take trillions of years to reach its final state, and you have all the time you need to find your way to sleep. Let the slow cooling of the heavens be your guide, a patient and steady path toward the dark. The orbit holds firm. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a silence that is rich with the echoes of ancient explosions and the light of long-dead planets. It is a silence that carries the weight of everything that has ever been, a dense and beautiful archive of existence. When you enter this silence, you are entering the memory of the stars, a place where everything is remembered and everything is at peace. You are part of that memory now, a quiet story told in the language of rest, and the quiet remains varied and soft. The gravity of the star is a silent song, a low-frequency hum that vibrates through the bones of the galaxy. It is a song of belonging, a melody that says everything has a place and everything is exactly where it needs to be. When you listen to the silence of your room, You are hearing that song, a quiet assurance that you are safe and that the world is in balance. There is nothing to fix, nothing to change. There is only the slow and steady cooling of the night, and silence follows. The crystalline lattice of the star is a geometry of hope, a structure that proves that even the most extreme pressure can result in perfect order. It is a testament to the resilience of matter and the persistence of life, a physical proof that we are designed to endure. No matter what the day has brought, you have the capacity to reorganize yourself into a state of peace, to find the crystal in the middle of the fire. You are doing that now, atom by atom, breath by breath. The network endures. The space around the white dwarf is illuminated by a light that is no longer visible, but can still be felt as a subtle warmth. This is the heat of history, the lingering glow of a life that was lived with intensity and purpose. The star may be dim, but it is not cold. It carries the warmth of billions of years in its heart, a secret fire that will never truly go out. You carry that same warmth, a reservoir of love and experience that sustains you in the dark, and life adjusts once more. The transition of the star from the many to the one is a journey towards simplicity, a shedding of the outer layers to reach the essential truth. In its youth, the star was a complex system of convection and fusion, a loud and busy engine of light. Now, it is a single, solid entity, a masterpiece of focus and clarity. You are simplifying now, letting go of the many thoughts of the day to reach the one truth of your own rest. The journey is beautiful, the destination is peace, and everything rests. The white dwarf is a sentinel of the long night, a steady presence that marks the boundary between what was and what will be. It sits in the void with a quiet and unwavering dignity, a star that has found its final enduring form. It does not need to grow or change. It is content to simply be a focus point of light in the heart of the infinite. You are finding that same dignity in your own rest, a state of being that is independent of the world outside. The current flows without effort. As the star continues to cool, it moves closer and closer to the temperature of the vacuum, a slow merging of the individual with the whole. This is not a loss of identity, but a fulfillment of it. The final step in a journey that began with the first light of the universe. The star is becoming one with the dark, a silent and permanent part of the cosmic architecture. You are becoming one with the night, a quiet and permanent part of the peace. Stillness travels through the water of space. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, a silence that is the ultimate expression of strength. It is a silence that does not need to be filled, a quiet that is enough in itself. The star has said everything it needs to say through its light, and now it is content to listen to the silence of the void. You are listening too, feeling the quiet pulse of the universe as it breathes in and out, a slow and steady rhythm that carries you towards sleep, and the quiet holds its new shape. The gravity of the star is a gentle pull toward the future, a reminder that we are all moving toward a state of perfect balance. It is the force that guides the evolution of the galaxy, a silent hand that shapes the stars and the worlds they hold. You can trust that hand, knowing that it is leading you toward the rest you need and the dreams you deserve. The future is safe, the night is kind, and the stars are cooling with you, and peace lingers. The crystalline lattice of the core is a map of eternity, a repeating pattern that goes on forever in every direction. It is a structure that is both beautiful and functional, a perfect marriage of form and purpose. This is the goal of all natural processes, to reach a state of harmony where there is no wasted energy and no unnecessary movement. You are reaching that state now, a perfect harmony of mind and body that is the foundation of deep sleep. The rhythm continues without a sound. The space between the stars is a place of absolute clarity, where the mind can finally see itself without the distortion of the world's noise. In this clarity, the white dwarf finds its true self, a star that is defined not by its light, but by its essence. You are finding your true self in the dark, a quiet and enduring core that is unaffected by the changes of the day. You are the star of your own universe, a steady and radiant point of peace. and everything rests in its place. The white dwarf is a survivor of the greatest transitions, a light that has found a way to endure in a world of cold and dark. It is a story of hope, a reminder that even when the fuel is gone, there is still a way to shine. This light is not a flash of brilliance, but a steady and enduring glow, a light that can be counted on for trillions of years. You have that same light within you, a steady and enduring spark that is waiting to be found in the quiet. And still, it turns. The journey of the star from the expansion of the giant to the silence of the core is a masterpiece of natural design. It shows us that even the most violent transformations can lead to a state of profound and lasting peace. By trusting in this process, we can find the courage to let go of our own fires and settle into our own quiet centers. The universe is a safe place for the light and a safe place for the dark, and the quiet holds. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, and that silence now stretches across the cosmic horizon as the white dwarf settles into its final, most enduring phase. The heat that once roared through its wide red atmosphere has been distilled into a single concentrated glow, a persistence of energy that defies the cold of the infinite. It is a moment of total integration, where the star, no longer fights against gravity, but uses it as a structural embrace. You're integrating the events of your own day now, allowing the heat of action to settle into the cool, stable light of memory, and stillness deepens its reach. The crystalline lattice within the star has now reached a state of near-perfect geometry, a planet-sized diamond that holds the weight of a sun with effortless poise. This internal architecture is so dense and so orderly that it has become a sanctuary for the remaining heat, letting it leak out only in the smallest, most patient increments. It is a masterpiece of conservation, a lesson in how to hold on to what is essential while letting the rest drift into the dark. You are holding on to the essential piece of this moment, letting the unnecessary noise of the world dissolve into the shadows, and the quiet remains vivid. As the star continues its slow descent into the red and infrared spectrums, its relationship with the surrounding space becomes one of perfect thermal equality. It is no longer an intruder of heat in a cold void, but a quiet participant in the temperature of the universe itself. This merging is not a disappearance, but a fulfillment, a state where the boundary between the star and the night is a soft, welcoming blur. You are merging with the softness of your own rest now, feeling the line between your thoughts and the silence grow thin and comfortable. Stillness travels through the deep. The gravity of the dwarf star remains a constant, a silent signature of its presence that reaches out through the vacuum to touch the nearby dust and light. This pull is the star's way of staying connected to the story of the galaxy, a steady and unwavering hand that never lets go of its place in the cosmos. It is the same gravity that holds you here, in this safe and quiet room, ensuring that you are grounded and protected throughout the night. You are exactly where you belong, held by the same forces that guide the stars, and the rhythm continues. In this deep, cooling phase, the star becomes a repository of time, a living clock that marks the passing of eons with the slow fading of its light. It has seen the birth of new nebulae and the collision of distant galaxies, and it watches them all with the patient eyes of an elder who has already finished their work. There is no urgency in its cooling, only the steady, methodical release of a life well lived. You are releasing your own day with that same steady grace, trusting that the work is done and the rest is earned, and peace lingers. The space around the white dwarf is now a cathedral of absolute clarity, where the vacuum is so pure that the light of the most distant stars can be seen with unblinking precision. The star sits at the center of this clarity, a small and brilliant monument to the power of endurance and the beauty of the aftermath. It has found its final form, a state of equilibrium that will outlast the very suns that currently light the sky. You have found your own form for the night, a state of rest that is solid, secure, and deep, and wonder expands. Every atom in your body, once forged in the furnace of a star, is now settling into the same crystalline peace that governs the heart of the dwarf. The carbon in your heart, the oxygen in your lungs, the iron in your blood. They are all returning to the stability from which they were born. You are a microcosm of the stellar cycle, a being of light that is finding its way back to the quiet, dense truth of the core. There is no fear in the dark when you realize you are made of the stuff that survives it. The network endures. The light of the star is now a whisper of infrared, a warmth that is felt more than seen, a secret heat that lingers in the cold stretches of the night. This is the stage of the black dwarf, the future where all light is internalized and the star becomes a permanent, silent guardian of the void. It is a state of absolute potential, a resting place for the building blocks of the universe. You are entering that state of potential now, a deep and restorative sleep where your spirit can gather its strength for the coming light. Still, the universe breathes. The legacy of the giant is the silence of the core, and that silence is now your own. It is a silence that is not empty, but full of the history of your life, the warmth of your experiences, and the steady strength of your character. You have shed the outer layers of the day, the noise, and the expansion to reach this quiet, concentrated place of rest. The star has shown you the way, from the fire to the crystal, from the many to the one, and the quiet holds. As you drift into the final reaches of consciousness, feel the steady, rhythmic pulse of the galaxy as it turns in the dark. You are part of this turning, a tiny but essential spark in the vast architecture of the stars. The cooling is complete, the balance is achieved, and the night is yours to inhabit. If your eyes remain open, another journey awaits, but if sleep arrives, you are already home. Rest now, in the enduring light of what remains, for you are safe, you are held, and you are eternal. And everything rests in its place. If this calm space has eased your mind, perhaps share it. It helps others find their way to rest. Thank you for resting here tonight. Your presence keeps this circle of calm alive.